Hello guys and welcome back to a star-studded episode of the Downbeat podcast. My guest this week is Mike Kroeger of the band Nickelback. Kroeger. He's a Kroeger. He plays bass in Nickelback. It's a bit of a weird one, right? Because I got an email from his press agent saying he loves the show, he wants to do it. Then I turn up to pick him up and then he's like, oh my God, it's you. He's a big Stray fan. He's a legend. He was like, oh, it's you. And he sort of pretended like he didn't know. And the whole thing was very weird. So we talk about that. We also talk about growing up with Chad Kroeger, because obviously it's his brother. There's a new documentary out, Hate to Love, Nickelback. We sort of dip into that a little bit, like why they got so much hate. Look, big riffs. I'm a Nickelback guy, okay? It was a great little chat. I watched them that night. Loved the show. Side note, during the biggest song, right, someone passed out in the crowd. They stopped, obviously, to get the person out, and they came back in just on like a 2, 3, 4, and it was like, it like clocked in my head. I was like, no tracks, no nothing, just riffing. I was like, this band is sick. I'm a Nickelback guy. If you're not a Nickelback guy, just watch it anyway, because it's fun, it's funny. Before we get started, I want to tell you we have a Patreon, patreon.com/the Downbeat. If you're on it, you're probably watching this episode early, or you're listening to it without ads, or you bought some Downbeat merch early. The lowest tier is £1. It helps me support the podcast, it helps me pay for editing, it helps me go on trips to visit guests, it helps me do loads of stuff. Patreon.com/the Downbeat. Please just give me £1 if you despise me and you spend your time just writing little notes about me and then burning them like some sort of chaos magic ritual, like a voodoo note. You got to look good while doing it. www.thedownbeat.at, so it spells Downbeat. We got new merch, right? It's all super high quality streetwear stuff. You're not going to get anything at this quality, at this price. You're going to look good, guaranteed. You're going to pull, not guaranteed. www.thedownbeat.at, so it spells Downbeat. Also, guys, I got to talk about the holes that you're making in your wall. Now, some of those holes, I know what you're doing. You're making a hole in the wall, you're drawing a picture of a lady or a man, and then you're doing terrible things to it. Right, those holes I can't help you with. What I can help you with is when you're trying to put up that portrait of whoever is your master or whoever you're just doing your disgusting stuff to. You're trying to put it up, you're drilling holes in the wall. Your landlord is annoyed, you're not getting that deposit. Displate, make metal posters. You don't have to make those holes in the wall because they mount on the wall with a magnet. There's a billion different designs, probably a million, not a billion. Billions, so many. They got everything. They got games, they got movies. You like Elden Ring, you like the new game Elden Ring, they got official Elden Ring stuff. They got Gojira, they got the Downbeat. We got a Downbeat store with brand new designs in it. Listeners of the Downbeat podcast can get 22% off 1 to 2 displays or 33% off 3 or more displays using the code Downbeat. Go to www.displate.com/the Downbeat and check it out. It's Michael Kroeger of Nickelback on the Downbeat podcast. Michael Kroeger.
Yes, sir.
Nickelback.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Downbeat.
Happy to be here, man.
You didn't even know it was me.
I didn't know it was you. I knew it was a worthy interview to do because I trust my people to find me good things. But when we were rolling up and I was like, oh, there's somebody waving the van in. And I was like, wait a minute. That guy looks just like the guy who plays drums for Stray. And we're in his town. Wait a minute. Could this be it? Could I be on the thing that I've seen before peripherally? Like I've never really gone deep on your show, but I've watched clips of it, because you talk to, people that I find interesting. And so this is just what a nice surprise.
Wow. Thanks for coming.
It's fucking great.
351st biggest band on Spotify. I looked today.
Wow.
Think about how much music is in the world.
Dude, it's absurd. I don't know what we're doing, man. It's just, we have a good time doing what we do. And yeah, when I hear things like that, it's usually in situations like this where somebody's on the other side of the table, has done some homework. Yeah, done some proper homework on what we've done and some of these kooky statistics and stuff. And whenever I hear them, I've never heard that one before.
It's absolutely insane. Like in my head, I'm thinking like 350 people is not a lot of people. Like 350 artists is not a lot of artists. No. That's like crazy. Well done. Congrats.
Again, like I say, I don't know. I just
You must know. You've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah, but I've never really. I should say we, because I know it's all of us. We don't read the scoreboard. We never have as we're doing this. We hear things, but we don't look for it. We don't look, hey, how are we, how are we doing in the, somebody will tell us a statistic and we're always surprised. Like when you just said that, that's, surprises me. When we went past a billion streams with How You Remind Me on Spotify, like a week ago or whatever, we sat down for dinner with the guys a few days ago and it just came up. Yeah, what do you think? A billion streams. I was like, cool. I don't know, like a billion anything. I don't know what that looks like. Like
a billion's crazy. I can comprehend 350.
Yeah, that I can kind of see what that looks like. A billion things. So yeah, it's surreal territory, man.
Was there a moment, like, sorry to come straight in on like question
time?
Yeah,
let's go. Let's get to work.
Let me get me being professional out the way, and then we'll get the non-professional stuff, because mostly it's non-professional. Was there a moment, because obviously, you formed 95? 94,
yeah, 95. Yeah.
Was there a moment where you went, oh, I've made it? Or is it still just like, oh, I'm just going about my day?
We come from a fairly blue collar background. I think the moment that moved me was when I realized I wouldn't have to go back to work, like stacking boards and bricks and bags of cement. And
was that work?
I did that. Yeah. I worked in a lumberyard for a long time. It was my favorite. It really satisfied my OCD,
yeah.
Stacking and organizing things and picking out the things that are faulty and getting rid of them. And yeah, I like that. But, I also worked at a coffee joint and at a supermarket at the same time. I was working 3 stiffs at the same time to basically fund my music habit. And when I realized I wouldn't have to go back, because whenever I would go on tour, I would come back and I would pick up on those jobs where I'd left off. Because in that sort of world, they don't really like people like me who would just go, hey, next month I'm leaving for 6 weeks.
I've had my share of those jobs.
Of course you have.
Yeah.
But if you work hard and you're intelligent and easy to be around, as I don't know if I am, or maybe I'm not.
I think you are so far. So far, so good.
Okay. We haven't worked together yet, but still, I would just make a deal with my bosses. I'd just be like, hey, listen, you're happy with my performance, right? And they'd be like, yeah, whatever it is, stocking shelves or whatever the fuck, we're doing. And I just say, they go, but you can't go, you can't leave or we're going to have to let you go. And I was like, well, I'll make you a deal. Here's the agreement I'll make with you right now. And I had no leverage, but I would just throw it at them. And I'd just be like, if you can train somebody up in the 6 weeks I'm gone to be better than me, adios, go with God, we're good.
Nice.
Never happened.
Just made your own job security.
Because I would hustle. I would work people under the table. I had one boss at one point at the lumberyard pull me aside after the first 3 weeks I worked there. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm getting it done. I'm working into tomorrow's stuff now. He said, you gotta slow it down, man. And I was like, what? I didn't understand the concept, right?
Yeah.
Because I'd moved from the prairies where everybody works their tail off to the coast where everybody kind of...
Where's the prairies and where's the coast? I'm in Glasgow.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. So in Canada,
okay,
I grew up in Alberta where, this is as blue collar as it gets in Canada.
Yeah.
And then we moved to the coast, which is like yoga mats and marijuana. Right.
All of the coast.
Totally. That's why I love living on the West Coast, to be honest. But I remember this guy who's like, first of all, you're kind of making some of us look bad. And he was a manager. Right. And then he goes, leave some work for tomorrow. Just don't do everything today. Leave some for tomorrow. And I was like, I looked at the guy and I love the guy, but I was like, you're going to stay here.
Yeah, that's an insane work ethic.
Yeah, like if that's what this is, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I like meritocracy. You work, you dig, you get more. Right?
Yeah.
I don't like the whole like turn up. Give your 60%, go home, live your real life.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Well, that's
do
why
it.
you're a musician. That's exactly the same as me.
It's too extreme. I'm too extreme for that. I can't. That whole, my wife and I, the constant battle we have is, she's a moderator, and I say that moderation is for cowards.
Well, I mean,
Unless it's done in moderation. And she said, what? And I go, yeah, I'll do moderation in moderation. How do you fucking like that? And she hates it.
speaking of like no moderation, in the like 10 minutes that we spoke before this podcast, you told me about 3 surgeries. Like,
Those are the most recent ones.
what are you doing? Why you got so many surgeries? Reel me off those surgeries.
Oh, wow. So,
if you don't mind. I don't know the backstory, if any of them are really dark.
So I think it was 8 weeks old. I had brain surgery because I had a fibroid cyst growing roots to my brain. It was going to take me out. So
Jesus.
I got out of that one.
They removed the moderation as well.
I think that's when that part of my brain
Just
got
that bit.
shut off there. And then there's been various others, most recently, especially like ever since I turned pretty much right when I turned 40 and I didn't slow down like everybody told me to.
That's coming for me.
Fuck. My 41st year on earth, I had 2 hernia surgeries, little hernia repairs from deadlifting.
This is all coming for me. I'm 37 and I love to deadlift.
You love to deadlift? Okay, so let me tell you what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, go
okay,
on.
so what happens is you go through your deadlift program and you're having a great time, and then one day something pops in the kind of like in the area between where your pelvis is, between your pelvis and your dick, right around there. There's a little bulge. And it hurts like fucking crazy. And then you ignore it and you keep going and it gets worse and you keep going. And then finally you can't walk and you go into the doctor and the guy goes, oh yeah, you have an inguinal hernia. We have to repair it. Okay. Repair it. The recovery on it is guttural. Like I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. Hernia repair recovery is one of the worst things. It is terrible. So for me, they put a mesh in there. And what happens is the scar tissue blends in with the mesh and it makes this impenetrable thing that you just like, it's so tough. And it forms a real wall.
So it's still in there now, the mesh?
Oh yeah. It never comes out. It's this nylon mesh that the scar tissue works through and it becomes like reinforced concrete. So I had that done and then start to feel good, start to feel great. Start lifting again, other side.
No.
And I was like, why didn't they just do both of them? And because it's just a weak spot in the, in your abdominal cavity, right? It's just a weak spot and you fill it. You got 2 weak spots. You fill in one of them. What the fuck's going to happen? Pop the other one back in, get another one done. And then that recovery. And then that came out of that. Okay. And got back to training and back to having fun again. And, genetically, I'm just not right. My spine has never been good. And, so we did every moderation possible to avoid spinal surgery, and then at a point had to do it. And had 2 discs in my neck replaced, 1 disc in my lower back, and 1 fusion below that.
You are like a fucking Terminator by this point.
It's pretty cool. The new equipment works better than the original. My flexibility and range of motion is fucking tremendous now.
Did you have to take time off touring?
It was during COVID.
Pretty good timing.
2020, or 2021 was when I went in with the spinal surgery. So nobody was doing anything. And because, our band is based in Canada, we're doing even less, because I'm in the United States. They're all in Vancouver.
Oh, so you couldn't even
nothing
hang out. Yeah, I was the same. Obviously, Strays all states.
Of course.
Couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Just sat there.
Can't go anywhere because you're going to have to blah, blah, blah. And they're going to have to, give you the, penetrate you in the nose every time you turn around. And then you got to wait for 4 weeks to whatever. It was horseshit. Got that done. And then came back after the spinal surgery. Everything felt fucking great.
No, don't tell me another one. 3 is enough. And what happened now?
First day back at Jiu Jistu, I was training with a guy that I really like to train with. He's pretty brutal, very heavy guy, and I've learned a lot from him. And it just seemed like a really innocuous thing that he just moved my one leg to the side, and I resisted. And it was like the sound of like if you took an elastic band about 3 inches thick and snapped it against the wall. And that's what it sounded like. And it hit him like it made an impact on him. And and I was like, oh, and I rolled out and he was stood up and he's like, oh my God, what did I didn't do anything. And he was in trouble for hurting a guy in class and stuff.
Oh, really?
And I was, well, yeah, because you're not supposed to hurt people, right? But I was like, I was writhing around because what had happened was it's a muscle called the adductor longus.
Yeah.
Hip. It's part of the hip flexor group.
I've got problems with all of the things that you've talked about, so I'm just freaking out.
Well, this one snapped right off, complete rupture. She came right off. And actually, the recovery on that was really fast.
Really?
Yeah. It turns out that one.
Did you get any help?
No.
Really?
No. It turns out with that particular muscle, it's like a really thin ribbon. And you don't really need it. Like I was talking to my clever people and they said, yeah, they don't reattach that. They just leave it. You can work without it. And sometimes when soccer players have a partial tear of that one, they just cut it off. And I was like,
just let it reheal.
Yeah, and they just let everything else it mats down and everything else takes over and it equalizes itself. And I was like, that's great. Come back from that, back to training.
Oh my God.
Tear the other one. Because I want
no moderation.
I want to be even. I want to be symmetrical.
It's the
apparently.
OCD, isn't it? You did it on purpose,
obviously. So it tears, and it didn't fully snap off. It just about 50% of it ripped, and I went in and for whatever reason, that's a different protocol, and they do reattach that one. So I got some screws and stuff wrapped up in there. So the left side's great. 100%, probably tougher than ever. And the right side, I'm dealing with one less muscle.
When was the right side?
About a year and a half ago.
Oh, pretty recent then. Is it? Feels good now?
Fucking great. Back in training.
Back in the gym? Deadlifting?
Ready to break the next thing off.
What's your deadlift max?
I don't know. I was talking to Chad about it the other day, like 440, maybe 450.
That's mine as well. That's the most I've ever lifted was 440.
Something like that. I don't do that anymore just because once I pass 50, PRs after 50 don't really mean shit. It's
risk to reward is pretty.
Well, and what the real personal record is am I functional?
Yeah.
Like I remember, and what really crystallized it for me was I have this one nephew, and he's an athlete as well in Canada, and it was relayed to me. He was talking to his mom, and she was saying, well, Uncle Mike's injured, and he said, this kid was like, I think he was 16 at the time, and he goes, what would life be like if Uncle Mike wasn't injured? And I was like, I heard that and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm really fucking this up. Like little kids are watching, seeing my dysfunctional pattern of drive, break, recover, drive, break, recover. It's a shit cycle. So I started to be a little bit more intelligent. It only took me 50 years to start to figure it out. Yeah.
What do you do now training wise? Jiu Jitsu?
Lift, Jiu Jistu. I just started in the last month back to, getting under a barbell with squats and deadlifts again.
I broke my back and it was, luckily I didn't need any surgery or anything, but deadlifts came back pretty fast. Yeah. I couldn't put a barbell on my back for 2 years. Like it just, because it was right in whereabouts where like a barbell will go on a low bar squat. Okay. And I just couldn't do it. Yeah. And even now I'm like, I've taken barbell squats out because I'm just like, I just don't want to. I'm 100% now, but like, it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
It can get in your head too,
Yeah, it's exactly that.
A lot of lifting is mental, right? Like if you get under it and you genuinely believe you can't do this, you're going to dump your fucking, 100%. You're going to fail.
Or injure yourself.
That's worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But true. A lot of it's so mental.
Do you train on tour?
Yeah.
How often do you train on tour? This is come every day.
This is literally, let's chat
that's
more.
all I want to fucking talk about.
Let's chat more. Well, we're just getting started. We'll have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
I try to train every show day. I have mats, jiu-jitsu mats, and I have a room where they'll roll the mats out, set that up. I have one crew guy, sometimes two crew guys will come and just be my anatomical thing to work on. And
they don't even train.
No,
they're just so fucking awesome.
But I'm like, not only am I twisting them up and choking them, but I drop some pearls for us. So I teach them some self-defense as like payment. I am paying them too, but I'm not paying them to do this, right?
Yeah.
So
is it just like a fucking lighting guy or what?
My teleprompter guy, Marco, he's probably 240, 250. 6'2", big guy. That's what I want. I want a big frame to work. Like when I'm back home training at my school in Beverly Hills, I'm the guy who gets handed all the 300-pounders.
Twist them up.
They're worried that if they put the 300-pounders with the small people, they'll break them. So I'm the fucking big guy. Right. Fuck. Great. I never got called the big guy until, 10 years ago.
So the injuries, they built you back up.
I don't know what it is, but I started getting referred to as the big guy. And, I heard that.
Yeah, you got frame on you. I can see your delts popping out. But
I didn't. I was a very skinny kid and very weak.
Same.
I'm in the best shape of my life right now. 50-year-old me would kick the shit out of 20-year-old me in the worst way.
Proper brutality.
It wouldn't be close.
Do you weightlift on tour as well?
I have not real lifts. Like I have dumbbells and a weight bench that I use, but no, not real. Not unless I can get a place that has a proper station in it, and it's really hard to get in gyms here in the UK. Like in the United States, like you walk into a Gold's in the United States, and you're like, "Hey, I want to train." Okay, $15. Go.
We have a lot of the like automated bullshit here. Like you have to put a PIN code thing in.
Yeah.
But if we'd have known about this, there's a gym in Glasgow called Extreme Gym, and it's like a US, like one of those US warehouse gyms.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
There's one. We could have done it. We could have got you a brand new injury.
Yeah, right. Be wheeling me out there tonight. Well, whatever. It's okay.
Stoked for tonight?
Yeah.
What date is this of the tour? I haven't done that much research.
Number one.
Number one? You're doing press on day one.
Yeah, shit.
Thank you.
I'm going to go roll Jiu Jistu and lift too on day one.
Oh my God.
Before we do the show. Glasgow has a special place in my heart because I'll never forget the first time we came here. We were supporting, How You Remind Me, basically, the Silverside Up record when we came here. And we played... we were booked to play a place called the Barrel Lens.
Oh yeah,
fuck man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What a fucking legend.
Did you go in? Like you played it?
We played it 3 times.
It's the most legendary venue in Scotland.
I'll never forget. I got off of our bus, and our crew guys came up kind of scared, and we were like, "What's the problem?" And they said, "Well, when they pulled the trucks up, and we were going to start to load in, these really big scary guys came up and said." Listen here, open the trucks and get the fuck out of the way. And they're like, what? And they're like, they learned that there's generations of gear loaders at the Barrel Lens.
Yep.
And these people don't fuck around.
They're the best in the country.
I've never heard of anything like this before. So I'm already from the first time you step off the bus, you're on terra firma. This is my first experience in Glasgow. Besides the fact that my grandmother's family comes from here.
No way.
Yeah. Clan Macmillan.
Amazing.
Yeah. The clan seat's just out of town.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
I'm also I live here, but my parents are from here, but I never lived here with them. I just moved back here in the pandemic. It's really weird.
Wow, that's cool.
I feel at home in Glasgow because I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But God, I feel like I might have a Macmillan in me.
Maybe.
Imagine we're related.
How not unusual would that be?
Do you know what though? I also have family in Canada.
Really?
Maybe we're related.
We're going to have to do some...
I'm going to get all those injuries.
You are. It's regardless of whether we're directly related, we come from the same sort of the British Isles stock that, genetically there's some fucking gaps in that.
I love it though. I love when you meet someone who has obviously, I feel like America has, I'll be the one that says this, so I'll get the heat. I feel like America has each state has an independent personality, but you get Canada, Britain, and we're just and Australia, and we're just we're all the same. Yeah, it's so weird.
There's a real kinship there.
Yeah, the Queen.
And
R.I.P.
King now. Yeah, but anyhow, especially up here, right?
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. But I want to finish my Barrel Lens story.
Sorry,
because
I fucked up.
No, not at all. I love it. But I am going to bring it back because this is what sealed the deal for me on this town. We're already kind of looking around, going, "Wow, this is a gritty place," and these folks, and they're really friendly. But you can see if they like you, they like you, and if they don't like you, they'll fucking punch you in the mouth. And so we're just kind of. Wow. And I think it was our first UK date, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a real trial by fire, And I'll never forget that they had these curtains that would close for the changeover. And so the guys would do the changeover and get everything ready. And then, okay, go out, boys. And then they're going to open the curtains when it's time, when the show starts and the lights start. And I'll fucking never forget. I could hear this fucking, I don't want to blow it, but I could hear this commotion.
Yeah.
And there's no more house music. The house music was off, and I could just hear commotion out there on the other side of the curtain. And I remember just standing up there looking around, kind of confused, like, are we okay? Coming from Canada, maybe easily frightened at that time.
Yeah.
We start playing the first song, which I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure it's a rocker, because we've always started with a rocker kind of song. And the curtains open, and it is mass combat. Everybody's punching everybody in the fucking face. It's just elbows and fucking bodies flying everywhere. Yeah. And we were just like, what the fuck is this? I love it.
Do you know the story with the floor in the Barrowlands is spring loaded?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they can jump.
We have a place like that in Vancouver. The Commodore Ballroom has a spring floor as well.
I've only ever played that place that's in the bit of Vancouver where the drug town. What's the name? It's like a something theater.
The Rickshaw? Yeah, that's gritty, man. And that is where you all played when you went through. I know you did.
Yeah,
because
and
I couldn't make the show.
We are in a history of missing each other's shows.
Yes.
I missed you. You came to LA. I missed you.
Yeah.
I was in Nashville when you played Nashville.
Yes. I reached out to both you and John, and you were busy.
Yeah, I was doing these. How was that Nashville show? I imagine Nashville being a top 3 place in the world for you to play.
Right now, it sure is. Because country has kind of embraced the sound of Nickelback. We have a lot of fans and a lot of lovers in that world, and so as a result, basically all of the country music scene came backstage. We had Hardy on stage with us. We had Ernest on stage with us. We had who else was even there? Everybody was fucking
everyone
there,
I knew.
yeah.
Everyone I knew was there. Everyone that I know that plays in country bands was there.
Yeah.
Like, it was the to-do thing that fucking weekend.
Was so cool, man. It was we just really felt the love. Everybody was at the show, and we made so many friends. Jelly Roll came to the show. And,
one of the guys I know plays with Jelly Roll, and he was there.
Yeah.
Everyone that watches the podcast will know this, and I don't mean this to sound offensive. I'm a Nickelback apologist, and I always have been. When there was people dunking on Nickelback, I was like, Nickelback's sick. You just don't get it, right? Like riffs, big fucking riffs. Now there's this thing in country where like country's getting a bit heavy. Yeah. And now all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, Nickelback. I was like, where were you?
Yeah. I've always told that we have a really vocal contingent of Nickelback lover fans, like real mega fans. Yeah. And they would always leap to our defense on social media. And I would, whenever possible, I just say, guys, you don't have to do that. You don't have to take this. We don't bring it on yourself.
I don't even get it either as well, because it's not like, I think it's gone now. I'm thinking more like mid 2000s. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was, and it was the training ground for cyberbullying. Everybody was learning how to pick on people online, and we got to be patient zero of cyberbullying on social media. It's just it's okay. It sucked, but it turns out it's sort of it was the trial run of what would become sort of how things
the world,
yeah,
how the world is. But also, like, you never dipped in success, so it's just like a proof of the internet's not real.
Frankly, man, if I look at the trajectory of our career versus the hater sphere, I don't want the hater sphere to stop, because we have never done as well as we did when everybody hated us. So now that people are starting to try to like us, I don't care one way or the other. People fucking think. But now that people are starting to like us, I'm worried our career might be over. I hope not.
Please continue to hate us. I mean, that's real funny, because I was thinking about this the other day with like any band or anyone ever, right? I'm even seeing, like, obviously, I'm not the 351st artist on Spotify. I mean, me with the podcast, not Stray. Like, the bigger it gets, or the more people absolutely fucking hate me, the better I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm like, it's insane. And then I think about like bands like Bring Me the Horizon as well. Like, I remember like five 5 to 8 years of like, it seemed everyone who you talked to hated that band, but they were the biggest band in the fucking world.
I know music is a very emotional thing for people. I get that. But it also exposes a real weakness in the human condition that we'd much rather talk about the things we don't like than the things that we do like. The fact that humanity really has a real addiction to negativity.
Yeah.
We really like negativity, really like to see people get hurt, especially people that are successful and doing well. We want to see them go down the hardest. That's, and it, you know, look at the royal family. You know, these people catch cancer and it's just like, that's all anybody wants to talk about. It's like,
that was
somebody gets killed and it's like, this is great news. Like, what the fuck is wrong
But it's
with
only
us?
on the internet as well. You're not like hanging out with anyone in real life and they're like, hey, did you hear about this sick bit of cancer? It's like, no. It's fucking insane.
It's very Roman in nature.
I don't see it stopping though as well because we'll get off me in a second. But like, I notice it with podcast clips. And I refuse to do it. And for this reason, my trajectory on the podcast has been very, very slow because it's like I do the episode and I have X amount of clips, like 8 clips. Mm-hmm. And one of them is slightly inflammatory.
Yeah.
And I know if I post that one, the episode goes crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't like being the guy that started all the fights. So I just don't do it. But a couple of times when I haven't even realized, like, I'll just put it up. And the comments are just crazy. And I just get comments days and days. And unfortunately, that like drives my ad revenue and it drives more sponsors to the podcast. So I hold my hands up and I just don't do it because I don't want that to be my fucking lame word, but like legacy or whatever, like the guy that just riled everyone up on the internet. Yeah. But you can see why people do it. This is not a question.
Troll culture is very profitable. I mean, people have gotten into elected office with it. You know, it works.
Yeah.
If you want to generate interest, it doesn't have to be positive, and the negative interest actually sells better.
Oh, it's so bad. This is depressing. Let's get off this. Let's get off the subject.
Well, it's humanity, right? Like I say it's a Roman because it is. You know, when you look back at the activities in the Colosseum in Rome, that they weren't going there to see somebody win. You know, they wanted blood. They wanted to see people die, and we're no different now. We love to watch people die. It's just in a more cowardly way. We don't want to actually see it happen.
The thing is, though, I feel like I would have went in Roman times.
Everybody would. Everybody did.
Kind of like
because it's not you getting eviscerated in front of everybody. It's the same thing. It's all the same psychology, man. It's right down to how humans are wired.
Fuck. We could talk about that for fucking 2 hours
forever.
So let's not. Let's talk about. How did you get into music?
We were growing up, there was just a lot of music around. Long before we ever thought about picking up an instrument at all. Didn't even know it was really a possibility. We were listening to tons of music. Our mother was a really big music fan. She was also a dance instructor. And she liked the rock. So there was Queen, there was ABBA, there was Led Zeppelin, there was the Bee Gees, there was all kinds of Boney M during the disco era. It was all kinds of stuff. And I remember hearing everything. The Beatles were, my mom had pictures of the Beatles in I think every room.
Sick.
So we were exposed to all that. I remember sitting down, and this is going to date me, whatever.
You've already said you're 50 and you're broken.
I'm 51 and I'm turning 52 soon, so I don't give a fuck anymore.
You look good, bro. You look good.
Thanks, man. Well, we do what we can.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in front of a record player in my mom's living room, and she had these great big speakers that were fucking super loud, but they would be watching television and I just wanted to listen. So I would get headphones not unlike these and sit down and just listen to deafeningly level, like so fucking loud LPs.
Hell yeah.
I remember my ears hurting sometimes because I wanted it so loud. My grandmother grew up in a family that was a family band, on the prairies in Canada. And so everybody had to play an instrument because otherwise you wouldn't have music in the house because that was the only way to do it. This is like, depression.
Yeah.
So if you wanted music at a dance, everybody had to play something or the music wouldn't happen. Fast forward to, when we're little kids, my grandmother's a drummer in a big band kind of band.
Fuck yeah.
And my grandfathers played the bass in that group and sang backgrounds. So we would go and my grandfather's in the government in Alberta, actually. And it was a government band, the Tory Blue Notes, they were called. And we would go watch them play and not, thinking much of it. Fast forward a little longer, our mother insists that we both take piano lessons, not to prepare us for a career in music or anything like that. You just got to do it. You want a guitar? No, you got to take piano lessons. It's important to take piano. And, geez, I can't thank her enough for that.
I mean, it's fucking great advice, but I can imagine maybe at the time being like, I want to play guitar.
I wanted to go play I just wanted to go play.
Yeah.
This is when we're like 12. You want to go outside and, play guns with your friends or whatever, just play. And there we were getting bashed around, with the yardstick because we weren't reading, well enough. And then at a point when Chad was 13 years old, and I would be 15, we really enjoyed hard rock groups like Metallica, like Megadeth, like things like that. And I think there was a moment that crystallized for both of us when we went to see Metallica play on the And Justice for All tour.
I'm so jealous.
In
That's
Calgary.
Crazy.
Oh, I'll never forget the experience, but I'll also never forget the Cult had played before. The Cult was playing support, and they were viciously fucking abused by the Metallica fans.
Really?
Oh, fuck. They hate the entire floor turned their back on the Cult while they played their whole set. Ian Astbury jumped into the audience and fought a guy.
That's kind of sick.
It was, I fucking hats off to him. Like, that's
We're back
awesome.
in Rome.
Yes, but their fan base wasn't kind to opening artists. But I remember watching the Cult, and I remember watching Metallica and just going, those are just guys. There were personas built and the archetype of the rock star, and you stand this way and you sing this way and you look this way. And but I was like, I kind of saw through all that shit, and I just thought, those are just guys. Maybe I want to try that, And Chad, I felt the same thing. And so shortly after that, he got himself a guitar, and I just started playing my grandfather's bass because no one wanted to play bass. Everybody wanted to play guitar and drums.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to play bass. And I was like, well, I'll try it. And I just felt it, man. I'm not that bass player that just couldn't cut it on guitar. I don't really like guitar. I didn't feel the drums enough.
Yeah.
On guitar.
I feel like I'd play bass if I didn't play drums.
I think you would. I think you would. It's so much more of a rhythmic thing. And to me, and to the discord in a lot of my friend groups, I'll hear, a lot of the things that I like to listen to are rhythmically based, like the band Meshuggah, for instance.
Yeah.
Everybody is playing rhythm in that band. Everybody.
Everyone's playing a bass pretty much.
Pretty much, I mean, but and there are melodies. Of course there are, like, Frederick, come on. Like there's melody there, but what makes it go is rhythm. And all the other things that I loved were rhythmically based. And so there's a lot of stuff, a lot of canon music. Like, there's a lot of Beatles stuff that to me, I kind of passed on it when I was younger and more aggressive because I was like, he's not hitting hard enough. It's not enough, rhythmic drive there. The violence, it's violence.
Yeah.
It wasn't there, and I wanted more violence. So we just started playing. In the small town we were in, there were a lot of musicians per capita. There's like 3 rock bands in that town of 1,900 people or 2,900 people, pardon me.
That is a small town.
Oh yeah, real small. And it was the big town in the area.
That's crazy.
So we would play in a garage sense and learn cover music and just had a great time. Just loved it. And then graduated to playing the more lowbrow bar in town.
Nice.
And then graduated from there to playing the bar to play at in town, which, arguably they're all the same. And it just went from there, really.
And is this as Nickelback, or is this like...
No, this was just as kids in middle school and high
whatever
school.
Band.
Yeah, just playing.
Did you come up with the name Nickelback? Did I make that up?
I did. That's one of your rumors that's true.
We had a rumor earlier that you got brain surgery listening to Stray. And how the fuck did I hear that?
Believe me, if I book brain surgery, I'll be listening to Stray. Don't worry about that for sure. It's a done deal, but it's in the future, not the past.
Please don't get brain surgery. I mean, get it if you need it.
I probably will at some point.
Don't jinx it.
Everything else needs maintenance, so you never know.
Give me the Nickelback story.
It is that story of the working in the coffee shop, making change for
I don't actually know the story.
Oh, you don't know this one? Fuck,
this,
okay.
This is the thing. Like, I don't know anything.
Cool.
I never know anything. And there'll be people watching this who don't know anything. So I'm sorry if you've been asked that 500 times.
Yeah.
It's the one. Everyone's watching that. Oh, we all know that answer.
Infinitum.
You didn't know about the surgeries, did you?
Yeah, infinitum. I've answered this one. I worked in a coffee shop, and at that time, the most popular coffee drink cost $1.45. And I would get this entire office building from this company, BC Tel, the British Columbia telephone company. They would all come for coffee at once, like 100 of them or whatever. And they would all pay me with $1.50. So I would give them 5 cents or a nickel back. And I was saying, okay, here's your nickel back. Here's your nickel back. And here's your nickel back. And then we're really dying for a fucking band name right now. Maybe this... It just kind of rolls.
So fucking sick.
And it didn't mean anything to me because I didn't know anything about American football. And apparently that's some kind of play setup.
Oh, see, I don't know that either.
I still don't even know what it really means. To me, it was just these syllables that kind of rolled off the tongue okay. And we were dying for a band name at the time. And it was the best one so far.
Do you remember any of the other ones that were in the running?
I prefer not to mention them because I feel like they're a further indictment on us, you know?
Oh.
No, really uninspired things.
Rock gods. Gods of rock.
It was just things that weren't even given a meeting.
You can't give me one. You can't give me one.
Well, on our first demos, we wrote the name of the band Brick.
That's hard. I like that.
It's hard and heavy, right? And then we were playing, pretty rock-based stuff in the very, very beginning.
I don't think you'd be playing the Hydro called Brick, though.
You never know.
It's a fucking great name for like a hardcore band.
At a point, the name of the band becomes less and less relevant, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there are some insane band names.
Yeah, and ridiculous and stupid ones.
What does Primus mean?
You have no idea, but what is it? It's just what it is, right?
It's fucking awesome.
The name is now no longer a descriptor; it's an identifier. It doesn't, it doesn't.
Nickelback's a great name though. And now the story with it's great. Brick. I'm stealing Brick, by the way.
Okay.
I'm going to start just a beat down hardcore band called Brick. It's fucking awesome.
Do it.
Oh man, I'm fucked. I'm
absolutely. You can hear it. And my voice doesn't sound like this.
What? Why? What have you got?
Some kind of sinus infection.
Oh
bullshit. Oh fuck, I hate it. It's what kept me off the mats. I flew in to England 4 days before everybody else because I was going to go train Jiu Jistu with Haja Gracie. And as a result of this bullshit, I laid around the Cafe Royal for fucking 4 days.
I'm about to have, speaking of surgeries, I'm about to have surgery on my left. I've got a deviated septum.
I do too.
Yeah, we're related.
It's from not keeping your hands up enough.
Honestly, it was from a football accident where I got kicked in the fucking nose, fucking bad. I'm waiting to have surgery from it, but I just get sinus infections all the time.
I do too, and I don't know if I have that because I had an ENT look at me a little while ago, and she said, "Yeah, you got a slightly deviated septum, but it's no big deal." I think I'm going to go back and talk to her.
So I did exactly that. How weird is this? I did exactly that, and they were like, "Yeah, it's no big deal." And then I went to a second opinion, and the guy said it's the most deviated septum I've ever seen.
Fuck.
That's the fucking scale. So definitely go get a second opinion.
Yeah,
now I'm on the waiting list.
Because I can how you crack your knuckles? That's what happens with my nose if I push it to the side. It crunches.
I can't do that, but I can, if I just go, I can breathe perfectly. If I just push on it, and if I don't, it fucking closes up.
Fuck me.
If you're just listening to the audio, I just sniffed the fucking microphone.
It looked like a scene from a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, it looked like me fucking.
Yeah.
The Nickelback party. Yeah. Sometimes it looks like you party.
Yeah. You could get the wrong idea.
I got straight into that. Actual question though, do you let loose on tour? Not anything anyone was thinking of, but like, do you drink?
I stopped drinking about 9 or 10 years ago.
Fuck yeah, good for you.
Yeah. You would think that when one has a, mortal level stroke, that they would stop drinking from that. Well,
is that what happened?
It isn't, because I'm an idiot. What happened was I had the stroke and I recovered. Again, it's kind of akin to all these other physical fucking things I was telling you about. I felt great, so I just went back to normal life of, when I grew up, I was wild.
Yeah.
So I would blackout drink when I was younger. So as a result, I woke up in a hospital when I was 19 from drink, because I didn't get hangovers. Yeah. So I could drink for fucking weeks. Yeah, lights out. And then I woke up, I had a grand mal seizure and I woke up in a hospital at age 19 and I quit drinking until I was 28. So all my 20s, I probably wouldn't be here if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I probably would have found the edge and went over it. I went from 28 to about 42. Well, I had this stroke at 41. So about 44 was when I kind of figured it out. It's like, I don't
you had like 20 years of 15 years
back in the game or whatever you call it. And
is that height of Nickelback success as well? I mean, the
part of it, yeah.
The height
part
is now,
part of it, it was through part of it. Yeah, I just stopped doing that. And, I've heard it called California sober.
I know so many people.
Yeah. I don't smoke. I can't. I smoked cigarettes for a long, long time when I was younger, and I don't like the way it feels when I smoke, so I don't like to smoke, but I do really like to eat marijuana. It's cool.
I can't handle it. My brain is too psycho.
Well, mine is too. That's why I only do it when I'm going to go to sleep.
Right.
Because if I do it and stay awake, it's not very good.
Yeah.
And it's not a good time for me, so I use it as a sleep aid, actually. But that's the extent of, I might eat some stuff and have a few laughs and then go to bed. But I don't let loose like that.
Does your California sober include mushrooms? In a legal state?
Only in a legal state,
Only
yes.
in a legal state,
yes, of course.
Do. In a legal state, I fucking love mushrooms.
I've never hit the heroic dose before. Still never have. I've never tripped. But the microdose experience has changed me in a good way. My tolerance is very low. And I intend to keep it there. So I'll take between 250 and 350 with my morning coffee and then just go about my life.
Yeah.
Go to Jiu Jistu class. And for me in Jiu Jistu class, it changed. That's where I realized there were some really big changes going on in my mind. Was I would take it, have my morning coffee, go to Jiu Jistu class, and I'd be learning a technique and go, I wonder what would happen if I was upside down when I did.
Just connect the dots.
You just start to think in a global way instead of a linear way, and it's been really good for me.
I had a similar thing when with anxiety, I've had anxiety my whole life. And then I had one, I've done a heroic dose before and it was horrible. I had a really bad time. But there's a company called Silo in the States and they do the gummies and they give you I think a bag is 3.5 grams. But each gummy is a 100 milligram, a microdose thing, perfect thing. And on tour, me and Dragon and Carbasis were just fucking do them and just hang out on the bus or whatever. And there was this one time, I've had anxiety my whole fucking life. And there was this one time, I must stress it was a microdose, because if you've got anxiety and you do a heroic dose, it goes fucking wrong most of the time.
Sure.
I was in my bunk and I started having an anxious thought. And then my brain just pieced together. It was just well, this is why you're thinking this. And it was because of this back in the past, blah, blah, blah. You don't actually have to worry about that. And it was a fucking switch went off in my brain. It was the craziest thing.
The person that gave me my first experience with microdose psilocybin told me that the reason it was really important for me to do it was because of his experience. And his experience was he had an anxiety condition, ADHD, ADD, and he said it got him off of Adderall.
Wow.
He did a course of 5 days and no more Adderall. Yeah. And he doesn't need it anymore. His anxiety condition is gone.
Yeah, it's some crazy stuff.
I couldn't discount it. I had to try it. And it changes how I listen to music as well.
Oh yeah, big time.
I go from listening to things, violent horrible things that I love. Stray being one of them. I don't listen to Stray when I'm on mushrooms. You know, what I listen to on mushrooms is like, you know who Mad Professor is?
No.
He's a dub, like a electronic dub reggae artist. The biggest, smoothest bass you can imagine. And when you're just in that smooth space in your mind, that's all I want to hear.
Fuck yeah.
I want to hear nothing over like 250 hertz. Just boom, 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 boom. I mean, that's all I want.
I've never done it with, I've always thought about when learning parts and stuff, I was like, I could probably benefit from like a microdose, but I'm terrified of the drive to get to the studio and get back because my drums are somewhere else. And it's like, I don't know. I've never like...
You've never driven on a microdose?
No.
I find it's really easy.
I think maybe I'm taking not microdose.
I think that could be your problem. You know, if you got fucking dragons and Pegasi jumping in front of your car, you probably are taking a little too much. But no, I take a microdose and I drive myself to Jiu Jitsu class and have these mind awakenings that obviously I can't explain to anybody there. Yeah. You know, but it's
you're just annihilating them and like, why is he so good?
It's actually it's the opposite. It's like that. It's such a fucking cliche, but you start to feel like water. In jiu-jitsu, it's really important to not be rigid, and if something pushes on you, let it push on you. You know, don't push back. Let it push on you and then go from there. You know what I mean? And that has really been affected by this, where it's like, okay, you're stronger than me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're okay, all right. You know, it's
very philosophical
in an uncomfortable situation, but I can still breathe. I'm still very conscious here. Why is it uncomfortable?
See, I didn't know that. I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu. Is that why everyone loves it? Because that appeals to me.
You would love it. You would get hooked on it in the best
I feel
way.
like I would.
And the thing about it is that, you know, it's not a team sport. You're in a team and you're with people and everybody wants, I shouldn't say everybody. If you're in the right school, in a good school, everybody wants you to succeed and grow and get better. And when you start to challenge your mentors, they're not like, fuck this guy and stomp you out. It's more like, wow, that's really good. You know, you're getting better. And there's everybody's lifting each other up. So it's kind of it's like an emotional team sport, but it's an individual pursuit. But you're not in competition with your opponent. You're in competition with yourself.
Yeah.
Because your opponent is just a reflection of how good you are. So if your opponent can best you, there's things that you got to work on. Yeah. It's not about them. It's about you.
It's like fucking chess.
It is human chess.
Human chess.
It is.
I'm in. Sign me up.
Bro.
Glasgow, if anyone's got a school, I'm in. I haven't got any time for more hobbies, but give me one more.
This one will fucking ruin your life. That's one thing I'll tell you. Yeah. Because you'll drop other things.
Well, if I ruin my fucking hip, it will ruin my life. Can't play the fucking drums.
Well, and then that's another reality of jiu-jitsu. Like when I talk to people about it and they, you know, they're thinking about getting into it and they're like, well, you know, do you think I'll get injured? And you know, and I was like, if anybody says no, they're lying. Yeah. You're going to get hurt. You just are. You are. You're going to go places you've never gone physically. Things happen. The human anatomy, the whole point is to take human anatomy where it doesn't want to be. That's the whole idea. You want to try to take joints the wrong way so the person submits or the joint breaks. Yeah. You want to choke them so the blood leaves their brain and if they don't tap, they go unconscious. You see what I mean? So naturally, when you're taking the human body where it doesn't want to naturally go, there can be side effects. Yeah. But you get to a point where other people don't hurt you, you hurt you. Yeah. And you know, that's a real breakthrough. And the risk to reward is kind of what makes that kind of stuff fun, isn't it? Like a little bit of fear in there. Oh yeah. It's a unique human condition to have a colleague lay on your face or sweat in your mouth. It's you know, everybody, you know, you tell that to people and you know, people listening here or watching here would just, that is fucking lunacy. But all the jiu-jitsu people are sitting out there going, that's what I'm on my way to class right now. That's what it's going to be.
Do you ever like, because a lot of people in bands do it.
Yeah.
You ever like roll with, like if you're on tour with someone else and they do it, do you roll on the mat together or?
I would.
We just haven't happened?
Yeah, it hasn't occurred yet.
Who else is on this tour?
We're traveling with a band from outside Manchester called the Lottery Winners.
Never heard of them.
They're a very small band. They're not super well known, but the way we got to find them was there was a period in time where everybody was doing a sea shanty of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And these cats did a sea shanty clip of Rockstar. And,
I remember it.
And somebody sent it to us. It was like, holy shit, look at this. It was our man who's here, Bradley. He found it and he said, look at this. What do you guys think? Should we get involved? Like, let's reach out to them and talk. And then we redid the song in sea shanty style and made a video of it. And they're just lovely people.
That's so cool that like a band of your size can I mean, I guess it comes with being that size, but you can just like pick a band and go, I like these guys. Come and play an arena with us.
Well, they'll take your call now. That's the thing is we reached out to plenty of bands in the past and they just don't get back to you.
Really?
Now people do when we've done well.
I mean, you've done well for like 20 years.
Yeah. But I remember what it's like when people didn't take our calls.
Wait, what? Hang on. What years are we talking here? I'm shook here. Silver Slide Up.
Well, like the late 90s, early 2000s, still when, everybody wasn't sure if it was just a fluke.
Have you got beef with anyone?
No.
Look in that camera and fucking call someone out. Me and you on the map. I thought maybe there's a band in your head. I was like,
no, you know what,
beef.
man? No, because some
beef.
No, not that. I was gonna explain myself a little bit.
Okay.
Here. So not to get too dark or whatever, but when you experience a near that death experience, when you live through something like that and you reach the edge of your mortality and you come back, there's a lot of things you just don't do anymore. I don't hold grudges anymore. I don't make long-term plans. I don't say no as much as I used to say no. For instance, the surprise about seeing you on this, I don't ask a lot of fucking questions anymore. It's like, do you want to do an interview? Yeah.
Sick.
I don't. It's not, well, who is it?
Yeah.
What's his listenership? It's like, ooh, what can I get? I just say yes to things. I don't hold grudges. Try to dismiss negative thoughts. I don't like to have them. In the spirit of this kind of stream of thought, a lot of people could consider this a negative thought, talking about mortality.
Yeah.
And the fragility and, everybody's going to die. Sorry to spoil it. But it's not a negative. It's not heavy and uncomfortable. It's reality. This is where we are and this is where we're going. We're all going the same place. Sorry again. I just listened to a podcast with Ray Kurzweil, and he has a little bit of a different perspective than I do, which is that people are going to get to the point where they live forever. Until that happens, we should be really well in touch with our mortality.
I mean, we'd be fucked if that happens. There'd be no space.
I don't understand how there's room for humanity when there's no death anymore.
Wow. That might be the most fucking poignant thing anyone's ever said on the podcast.
What's the point of all of this if it just never ends? What's to make any day special? Every hour is just another fucking zero turning into a one.
Yeah,
who fucking cares?
It's more for rich people living forever, addicted to power and money, I think.
But that the shine of that wears off fast.
Invent some crazy hobbies and bring back the gladiators.
Well,
I mean, they already have,
and that's not Jiu Jistu is like veganism. I'm sure you've heard, like,
yeah,
all they talk about.
And there is a massive, a load of vegans that are also Jiu Jistu, just
sure,
ultimate unbearable people.
Well, you're in two cults at the same time.
I
and
love
it's fucking awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, don't kill me. But it's a thing like a martial art. It strips away all those layers of, ooh, that's uncomfortable. Ooh, that feels too real. Ooh, and it's like, yeah, fucking A, I'm gonna try and choke you. Yes, I'm gonna try to break your arm. This is as real as we can be. In your corporate form, and so much of our life right now is so divorced from that. Like you actually, with intent, put your hands on somebody, and 90% of people, it's like, what the fuck? You're just a bag of meat walking through the universe. Big deal.
I think I'm in on Jiu Jitsu. I'm in.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it. You just make sure you find people that you can trust.
See, the issue is being an Englishman in Scotland, everyone's going to want to kick my ass. I'm going to be enemy number one.
And there's going to be a while where it's going to be pure unbridled violence. When you're a white belt, that's just what that is. You're fighting.
I did Muay Thai for a while. And
Okay.
I actually had to stop because it didn't matter how hard I wrapped my hands. I couldn't fucking play the drums afterwards. It was I guess I maybe after a year, like all the micro fractures and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe after a year I'd have been fine, but I couldn't work. It was just, I loved it, but I couldn't work.
I've trained plenty of Muay Thai, and the one of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant to go back is there's kind of this unspoken understanding in Muay Thai that you're gonna, every day you train, you're gonna accept damage. Not insignificant damage. You're going to accept some real damage. Like, I have seen injuries in the Muay Thai gym that I've never seen in Jiu Jitsu. Like, I've never seen an ambulance at a Jiu Jitsu class. Muay Thai, yes.
I signed up to this Muay Thai school in Reading when I was back there. Mm-hmm. And it was insane. Like, the main guy in the gym, there was an old guy, I don't want to get it wrong, old Serbian guy that was running it. Like, psycho. Legend.
Sounds about right.
A fucking legend, but an absolute fucking psycho.
Yeah.
And like, they had their prize guy in the gym who was the guy that was going out and doing the fights or whatever. So we'd all train together. And one day there was a fight and the guy missed weight. And they thought it was because he'd been fucking juicing or something, or just fucking...
Right.
And he was over his weight.
Yeah.
There was a massive fucking screaming match between the two of them. And then the class starts, and he stood with the guy, the fucking coach or whatever, is stood with the main guy, just because that's where they were having the shouting match. Yeah. And he's like, okay, so today what we're going to do, and he turns around and punches the guy that missed the weight as hard as he fucking can in the stomach without any kind of like warning.
Right.
Wins him, obviously.
Yeah.
That was the day's lesson. He was like, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to go away in pairs. You're going to punch each other in the stomach until one of you says stop. It was like, that was like maybe fucking my fourth lesson. I was like, okay, this is this.
It's pretty aggressive, and it's like the definition of the word dichotomy, because Thai people are some of the most gentle, caring. They'll take care of you, but they'll fucking remove your head first. Like they'll pick you up. Oh, are you okay? Are you all right? But they'll crack you with an elbow first. You know what I mean? Like they really, it's this really unusual dichotomy of gentleness and just savage violence.
Yeah.
Like just unspeakable violence.
I kind of loved it, but I just couldn't do it.
I love the exercise element of
Yeah,
it. Like the workout is so good. Like,
I got so ripped.
Puddles of fucking sweat.
Yeah.
You're standing in a puddle of your own sweat in their warm up. It's fantastic.
I got ripped. I got calves for the first time in my life because you're always up on your
You're
fucking
on your
toes.
toes, yeah.
Like, it was so sick, and I would love to do it again, but I tried even just training myself with like a heavy bag.
Yeah.
Play the drums.
You need some pretty serious articulation of your digits. And that's one thing that if you do go to jiu-jitsu, my brother, you must get graps.
What? Wait.
I have them in the van, in my bag, but they're a product that some guys came up with that it organizes your fingers into pairs. So these two are wrapped together in this lycra, kind of like a lycra sheath.
A Spock glove.
Yes, it's a Spock. It is indeed a Spock glove. That is but what happens is if your pinky's free, I don't know how many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've fucked my pinkies up. So two together, just like two small sticks are easily broken, two together are infinitely stronger. It's the same thing with your fingers. It doesn't affect motion or function in any way, but it protects you. You need that.
Is it frowned upon by the other people that you're rolling with?
No.
Oh, that's cool. Because to me, it sounds like when a kid comes in and they've got like fucking...
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not that.
I was going to get bullied for coming in with the fucking lobster claws.
The thing about it is that, they call them the black one black belt calls them the black lobster claws all the time. But the thing about it is that it doesn't give you any unfair advantage because you don't use independent fingers in this game. Like to just take one finger from somebody is totally illegal. You're not allowed to do that anyway. That's more like street style jiu-jitsu, where you're just trying to break people.
Yeah.
Instantly break people. So you're not allowed to just take one finger.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm still in on the Jiu Jistu.
All right.
Yeah. And then next time you come.
Well, the mats are at the arena right now.
It's a good arena for having a hobby. There's so many rooms in that place.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
When was the last time you played a small show? You just arenas everywhere now.
Yeah, or bigger, like festival kind of things.
And do you miss it?
I miss how they sound. A smaller room with a quality PA system and a really good engineer operating it. The sound pressure levels that are available. Like when I saw you guys in LA, it was fucking awesome. You sounded so fucking good.
Thanks,
and in the smaller rooms, it just stays thicker.
Yeah, I love the sound of
Like
the small
when
room.
you're outside, the sound pressure levels, especially the low end, which is what makes me go.
Yeah.
It just dissipates. And it's the same in an arena. Luckily I have a really great sound man who's really, he places a high importance upon people feeling what I do and feeling the bass drum. So we make sure that happens, but it's hard to do. It is hard to. I think the last time we played a small place was we had a private gig that we got asked to do for the Super Bowl in Los Angeles a couple years ago, 1 or 2 years ago.
Wait, so it wasn't at the Super Bowl?
No, it was just a party.
A small gig was the Super Bowl.
The fee was Super Bowl sized.
Fuck yeah.
The club was, I think there was 150 people there.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was this place called the Peppermint Club, right in Beverly. What's it called? Beverly Grove. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's not
150 people.
If that. Yeah, it was like just a group of friends
With the Super Bowl guarantee. How much is that a head?
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
all the tickets were free. You know what I mean? Well, these are people that when they go to a sports game, they bring a Gulfstream jet. So, or more than one.
It's crazy because, respectfully, you're incredibly down to earth. You're maybe the most successful person that's ever sat in that chair.
You think so?
Yeah. I think so.
I guess it depends on what your version or your definition of success is.
Platinum records plus money.
Okay, yeah. Then
I didn't have any.
I suppose I could be. I don't.
You seem like you don't care.
I don't care.
But I just think it's interesting that you don't have the fucking. You live in LA now, but you don't have.
Fuck! Look at me, fucking.
Oh fuck yeah! But you don't. You don't have. Yeah, but no. But you don't. You don't give off that. I wouldn't have noticed that.
No, I like them. Like I like expensive things. I'm not gonna lie. I love guns. Love them. I love watches. They both fulfill the same. They both scratch the same itch for me. Mechanical precision and beauty that require nothing. They require no energy source. They're their own energy source. Like this, it just moves and it winds itself. And it's happily going to keep going until I'm in the ground.
Yeah.
No problem. Guns, same thing. We have an EMP attack. Your phone's dead. Your security system's out. Your phone, your telecommunications, the internet's gone. You know what works? Guns.
Have you got a gun room? Have you got one of those fucking?
No.
One of those fucking. Beep, 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 beep.
No, I don't have the. No, I don't have the John Wick fucking the Continental reveal. I shoot with the team. Those are my people. The Terran Tactical. That's the place where Keanu Reeves learned to be John Wick. That's who I shoot with. That's my shooting coach. Yes, coaches. Yeah. That's the happiest place in the world.
I think guns are cool. I think my line is normal people buying automatic weapons. I'm like, you don't fucking need that. I still think it's cool.
I don't personally believe you need that. I don't personally believe you do. You in the United States, you can get a permit to have them in a collector's sense. You don't.
I know people with AR-15s, and I'm like, you don't need that. I look at it and I go, that's kind of sick. But
I have an AR-15. It's a semi-automatic weapon. It's not.
Oh wait, you can't. That's not even an automatic.
No.
Fuck.
No. It's one squeeze, one round. And
I thought it was automatic. I thought that was why everyone kicks off about the AR.
So don't you think that there's a little misinformation?
There is. Look at me. I'm misinformed.
But what people don't know is what informs a lot of very vociferous opinions.
We've just informed people. AK-47, no. AR-15, yes.
Well, even an AK can be operated. You can buy AKs in California.
You can buy an AK.
Yes, but it's semi-automatic. It's not what they call select fire, where you can switch to either a 3-round burst in some cases or fully automatic. It's not select fire. That's totally illegal in California and in most states. You can get a permit for it if you're a collector, or in the case of my beloved coach, Taryn Butler, he has a special permit because he teaches actors how to learn on them. So when they're shooting a film, they look like they know what they're doing.
That's cool.
Your average person can't get an automatic weapon.
Yeah.
And, good. Because mistakes happen too, even aside from anything else. If you make a mistake with a single shot, that can be really bad. That can be the end of it. If you make a mistake with a fully loaded magazine with an automatic weapon.
Yeah. That's a big fucking mistake.
Scores of people, and that's a big problem. And I understand that. I do understand the restriction there. And I also understand the grades of self-defense. But at its core, my issue is I want to be able to defend my home and my family.
Yeah. And in this country, we banned handguns after someone shot up a school.
Yes.
And we did have no more school shootings.
Right.
You can still get a gun though. Especially in Glasgow. You can fucking get a gun in Glasgow.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
We could go get one right now.
I want to ask something because I ask everyone.
Yeah.
You don't have to go super in depth, or you can go in depth. And then I want to ask you what your top 5 artists of all time are.
Fuck.
But what I want to know is, because I ask everyone, especially, and I love it with the varying degrees of how big a band is.
I'm still trying to sort out my top 5.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just keep that going.
Very hard.
We can do that.
Okay.
How does Nickelback write a song? Like, what's the process of writing a song? Sorry.
It's
not translate.
I'm from Canada. We say process there.
Do you?
Yeah, we do. So
Let's
it's like
fucking go, Commonwealth.
process, sorry, whatever. Fuck. It's okay.
Love Canada. It's my people.
Yeah. We are your people. They are your people. It's changed, to be honest with you. I actually read a passage from Stuart Copeland's book that he did not too long ago. Well, probably actually quite long ago, where he said that in the beginning of the Police, somebody would come in with a riff or a bit or song fragment, and they would flesh out an entire song based on that together. And then after a while, as Gordon became better and better at songwriting, there was less and less for the other two fellas to do in the writing process until they got to a point where Sting would just come in and be like, take a listen, guys, it's done. Just play the parts. That's us.
Yeah.
That's where it's gotten to, because Chad has become very, very, he's developed a very high level of facility of songwriting. Still needs a muse. Like, he still needs someone to be there, but he doesn't need someone to help him write the song anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and the hits don't lie. Like, it works.
Oh no, he's very good at it.
With fucking Sting as well. Like, I would take that. If someone could do my shit better than me, fucking please do it. But they can't.
It's pretty cool, to especially as his older brother, it's been an interesting journey, because as an older brother, you just by default take your younger sibling lightly, just out of the gate, without prejudice. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, he doesn't know, blah, 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 whatever. And then after a while, it's like, holy fuck, he's really good at this. Yeah. Like he's good at this. And then after a while, it's like, I think he's one of the best ones at this, actually. Like, he's doing this better than a lot of people.
He's 351st at least.
The guy's just got it. He's a really great storyteller. He comes at it from so many different angles. He's a metalhead like us. He also likes classic rock. He likes pop. He has there's so many elements to this guy. I don't know about God-given gifts, but I'd say that this is the closest thing I could testify is he's taken a God-given gift and then developed it and refined it and perfected his version of it to a level that I still am amazed by.
Surpassed the gods.
He's being around him in the studio when he's writing things. It's weird. It's weird.
What, just how good it is?
When it's on, creativity just flows out of them. It's like that story about, John and Paul back in the day. They go, hey, let's get a cup of tea and go write a house in the south of France.
Yeah.
Let's just go write a, mega hit right now. If you give my brother even a remote topic and just say, hey, write a song about this, he will write a song about that. But it won't be like a soap jingle.
Yeah.
It's not a throwaway. It's a fucking, whoa, that's real.
Do you have a fight? Brotherly fights?
We have. Never fisticuffs ever. I've been to the point where I had it ready, but I didn't. And I've never struck him in anger. And likewise him to me. We've argued plenty. Being in a band, it's being in a band.
Being in a band with your
and
brother
being brothers, right?
for this long.
But again, coming back to that dark topic of, that event that happened to me almost 10 years ago where I was nearly killed by my own brain. You reach a point of acceptance with people that you know, people that you don't know, strangers. So it runs my expectations of other people are I don't have them anymore. And my acceptance of people is now at the highest it's ever been, for sure. I don't want to change anybody anymore, and I have gone through that where I did, because to me, weakness is like the most fatal flaw that one can have. And I recoil from weakness just because I fear it in myself. So as a result, I don't want to allow anybody else to be weak. That's over now.
Hell yeah.
It's everybody's.
It's a shame it took a fucking catastrophic brain stroke.
To get a little humanity, right? That's what it took.
What's my excuse? I don't want one. Way over the fucking.
I was gonna say
no, I don't want it.
Hey, best thing that ever happened to me, man.
Oh fuck! Don't say that. I'm sorry it happened, but I'm glad.
And I never slept better.
Really? Now I could do that. I could do with that.
Best sleep I've ever had in my life.
Fuck. Well, after it.
Yeah.
What, like
when the left hemisphere of my brain was no longer functioning.
Do you actually remember? Like,
yes.
Do you have a dream, or it was just like you were conked out?
No, I was under the influence of some really stiff doses of drugs that were at the point where if they gave me more, I'd die. Because the pain was enormous. But the doctor did tell me after I did scans that the left hemisphere of my brain was entirely disengaged. It wasn't operating anymore.
Same.
And he said that because of the way that the duality of the human brain is, when the left side is no longer operating, the right side is everything.
Yeah.
And the right side of the brain is the Dalai Lama brain, is what my doctor called it. And he said negativity, criticism, cruelty, analytical thought is all gone. You don't have it. And I was like, I don't. And this was after I was like, I don't have any.
Wait, so what's the state of your brain now? Is it that left side is fucking not there?
I don't know how much of it's back, but I still, let's say I redeveloped the ability to be cruel again. You know what I mean? But that negativity and that humanity did return. But now, like you were saying earlier about anxiety, now when I sense those weak emotions, I can almost always, I can catch it and go, stop this. Don't stop this.
It's like it's like lobotomies work and you had one.
I did.
Fuck. That's fucking crazy.
The trouble is, I have another dear friend who had a near-death experience. He had an aorta rupture and he had to get rushed in and was just about finished. And he and I spoke about this. We meet on this issue, about, you hear these cliches about live every day like it's your last and blah, blah, blah. You can't stay there. You can't stay there. It's a really special place to be, but you can't, in this world, in this life, it's not a luxury you can afford. You can't live there. You can't stay there. You got to come back.
What, in the live fast, die young mentality, or
the ultra positive, kind Dalai Lama brain that you get.
Oh, it comes after something like that.
Yeah, you can't live a life. You can't stay there, and it's really hard. You got to strive and try, but to stay there is impossible. You know, because this world just isn't. You know, that's the dodo bird, right? That's the Maori Maori tribe of New Zealand. You hear the story of the Maori Maoris? Ever hear of them? There's in a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. It talks about how in New Zealand, way back, there was two native peoples. There was the Maoris, who we all know, and there was the Maori Maoris. And they were separated, you know, they're on separate ends of the island, and they didn't really interact for a lot of their history. And then when they did come into contact with each other, the Maori Maoris were didn't hunt. They were gatherers. They didn't kill anything.
Yeah.
They were totally peaceful. They didn't have any violence, nothing. The Maoris, as we know.
Yeah.
You said you played rugby, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Those guys met with these Maori Maoris that are ultimately peaceful, and they're like, "Oh, here, share. Let's have our things." You know, everybody. They're like, they ate them.
Fuck's sake.
The Maoris decimated their entire society, their entire culture. And
that's sad though.
but what I'm saying is that this is the reality. We're not a non-violent species. We're just not. The dodo bird, you know, look at the dodo bird, the big flightless animal that just walks up and just looks at somebody. It's like, oh, is lunch that easy? Bash. You know,
now it's gone.
Because this is our nature is not peaceful.
No, you've depressed it again. You're right, but it's depressing.
It doesn't have to be depressing. It doesn't have to be depressing. It's not like we're going to...
I'd like to believe that if you went to a tribe and they went, have all our stuff, they would go, oh, thanks, bro. But I know it's not the case.
No, because it was like, well, how easy was it to get them to just give it to us? How easy will it be to just take the rest?
Where'd you draw the line, though? You got to be kind of nice.
I have to be. I need to be kind. But I have to realize I don't live in a kind world. You see, this is the thing. I was talking to a friend of mine about guns. He lives in Chicago. He's like, do you really want to live in a world where you need to carry a gun? And I was like, first, there's two things here. First, you live in Chicago. Bro, there's a mass shooting every weekend in your town, okay? So there's that. Number two is I hear you. I hear you. You don't want to live in a world where you need to carry a gun. But let me offer you this choice. Do you want to live in the world, or are you choosing to live in the world you want to live in? Or are you living in the world that you are living in?
Yeah.
Because it would be really nice when a guy kicks your fucking door down and sticks a gun in your mouth. Wouldn't it be nice to just go, oh, I really wish I didn't live in this world right now?
I mean, it would be nice if the guy didn't kick the door down.
Of course.
That's what I
That would be the greatest. Then we wouldn't need any of this stuff.
Yeah. I think that's where I am. I'm probably where like your friend is, where I'm like, I want to believe it doesn't have to happen, but I also know it is happening.
We have the capacity to be kind and considerate and forgiving people. And we also have the capacity to be just unspeakably evil.
We need to give everyone the brain stroke at the same time. Everyone on Earth. And then we start from there.
Well, no, then the entire species dies off because you realize that sunflowers have a consciousness.
And you need physical therapy, and your physical therapist has had a brain stroke.
You can't eat anything, you know, so we all die.
Okay, top five bands. Let's bring it to a close.
Top 5 bands.
You can quick fire this.
Oh my God.
I'm just interested.
Let's choose top 5 fringe bands, because there's a number. I could tell you 100 real favorites, but I'll tell you, I'll pick 5 that are out there.
Yeah, pick 5 bands that no one would think Mike Kroeger from Nickelback likes.
Vanilla Fudge.
Okay.
What they did with that cover of Keep Me Hanging On is enough.
Nice.
That's all I need. That song. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah,
track? Yeah. That is. I can't even. I don't have a.
I mean, that's super fringe.
Yeah, I'm trying to be fringe right now. I'm really
Being
aiming
so
for that.
fringe, you can unfringe it a bit.
Typo Negative.
Fuck yeah, it's a top 3 band of all time for me.
Fucking just doing something that no one else did and no one else ever did.
And no one
was going to.
because it's not him. Even every other little side thing, everyone's like trying to be Typo, and it's. You know what's interesting? There's not even one like really good like close. You know what I mean? Like
No, there isn't.
Metallica. There's a bunch of bands that are like fucking sick and in the style of Metallica, but there's not a single one because there ain't no Pete.
Even Pete outside of that group wasn't that. You know, there's a special thing going on there. Because it's Peter, yes, but there's also a chemistry there with everybody else that...
Yeah, it's all... if you did a super group and just took Pete out, you wouldn't make the fucking...
You can't argue with what that machine made.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's annoying, though, because it's such... it's quite a big catalog, realistically, but it's like, I just want more. I literally got into Typo Negative the day he died.
Fuck.
Because it was like, I was a kid, and it was like... It was a front page of Kerrang, and I was like, who is this band? And then I listened to it, and I was like, oh my God, it's sick. And that was it. It's like, I was too late.
Let's see another.
Fringe me up.
Well, I don't know if it's super fringy. I find the Beastie Boys to be something really special to me because they took a boundless creativity of using other people's things. Like Paul's Boutique, you know, at that point, I think it still is the most sample heavy recording ever. What they did with those pieces of other people's art is, in my mind, an art form that's untouchable.
Yeah.
You know, in itself. And the creativity of those guys, just then the skill, like, oh, fuck, they're good.
It opened up a whole legal thing as well, like the songwriting royalties, like how much you have to change, how much you can use.
Well, and the whole sampling kind of legality came from these guys, right? Like they kind of, that didn't really exist when they did that.
I went there the other day, actually, where the front cover was shot.
No
in
shit.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Really?
It's literally, they've named one of the roads is now, because obviously it's not Paul's Boutique anymore, but one of the roads is now called, I think it's either named after one of the Beastie Boys, or it's like a Beastie Boys reference, is literally the name of the street now. It's fucking cool.
Cool.
My little New York sightseeing. Okay, next. You only got 2 more, and then you can go and roll on your mat.
Okay.
And shoot a gun.
Yay. There's a guy, classical artist from a few years ago, named Maurice Ravel.
Not familiar, but I do love a bit classical.
So what Ravel did was he wrote a song that you know, but you just don't know you know it. And it's called Bolero.
I know the name.
It is a study in dynamics. The piece begins with just a snare drum. Tip, tippy tap, tippy tap, tippy tappy tappy tip, tappy tap. And at the end, after whatever it is, 8 or 12 minutes, I don't know. It just, all it does, it's one cycle of music that just continually builds in dynamic level.
That's cool.
And at the end, it is utter cacophony. Deafeningly loud.
What was the name again?
The composer is Maurice Ravel, and the track is called Bolero.
I'm gonna check it out. It sounds like my shit. It sounds like Doom, but classical.
Once you hear it, you're gonna go, I know this.
Oh, sick.
I know this melody. You could even play the first or just a snippet of it on this podcast, and everybody knows it. I think it was in fucking Conan the Barbarian. Like it's everywhere.
Then I know
it's
it.
ubiquitous. It's ubiquitous, but you don't know what it is. And so this isn't really an artist so much as an approach. I guess it's not even just a song. The guy is all these other the valse and all these other pieces that are just fantastic, wonderful, wonderful pieces of music.
One more. This is absolutely eclectic.
The one work that breaks me, that I can't listen to without sunglasses on, is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys.
Great.
I can't even really talk about it without getting kind of fucked up, because it hits me in a big way. You know, it really emotionally affects me.
Lyrical content, or
Yes.
when it came out, or
Yes.
yeah, just
Yes.
everything.
All of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
The one track, You Still Believe in Me, is like one of the most heartbreaking things.
And the fucking literally all of the story of the everything.
When you put that in, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
I need more tissues. You know?
Well, we're going to call it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Craig.
It was a fucking pleasure.
Yeah.
I hope to have joined the Jiu Jitsu world so we can get on a mat.
I would love
next
it.
time.
I would love to
kick each other's asses.
I would love to take you to it. That's the most special thing for a jiu-jitsu player or practitioner, is to bring somebody in for their first.
Oh, let's do that.
So special.
I'm in LA all the time. Let's just fucking do that.
I've got a place to take you.
Done.
Beautiful. Oh, I can't wait.
Fuck yeah. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the Downbeat.
Thank you.
We are done.